mark that you've been speaking, if you're, some people's talk to 10, 11, 12, 13 minutes or whatever, that's cool. But at the 15-minute mark, I will just simply type in a message like this here. 3 minutes. That'd be like me holding up a sign saying 3 minutes. That'd be your cue. I've got 3 minutes left to wind up this talk. Then I'll give you 2 minutes and then 1 minute. And I've only had to do it one time, but if a person keeps going, my video up here would go from this to this.
That's called the digital cane.
Because we want to keep everyone limited to about 18 minutes max. That gives all three of you a chance, equal time. It's everything within the hour, and we go from there. Now, I'll probably take about 2.5 minutes starting out on the gate, getting going, doing the introduction, showing people how to see your presentation, that sort of thing. You'll also, it'll be a way, excuse me, a way of you showing or seeing how where we put everything on Speakers Pathway. And it's a lot of fun. It's going to go quickly. Any questions?
Have some fun. Bring some, I know it's early in the morning for some, but let's bring some energy. People need it. People want it. We've had great feedback that people are like, it really is a great way to start my day. So I'm going to bug out and leave you in Jim's incredibly capable hands, and I'll go lurk on Facebook and elsewhere. But I wanted to thank all of you speakers for being part of this project and volunteering to be part of what we're doing. So thank you. Take care.
This thing is really going to bless a lot of people. You're going to be blessed. It's really amazing how we're structured here. And like I said, this past weekend, Donna and I, we got a real big, wonderful surprise. Dr. Karen Perkins is a good friend of ours. We had her on the show. I don't think Sonia heard this, but she contacted me and she said, "Do you know our show was on KSL in Utah?" I'm saying, "Well, our show, you're thinking about, our episode with you?" She says, "Yeah." Her sister was listening to KSL, in Utah. And she thought her sister was on the radio live being interviewed, and they're actually playing our program. Our recorded program, Your Future Is Now. And
you gotta love it. So good.
Oh yeah.
That energy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of good things are coming down on that because goodness, we're just the energy that's behind this just pushes us out of the way. And I think most of you guys understand that. It's just, it came up to a good idea, but then the energy says, "Hey, get out of the way. Because the message and reaching out to people, that's what it's all about. We've got about 2.5 minutes before we go live. I'm going to go ahead and start muting everyone and cutting off them videos and all that. So at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock or whatever time it is at your place, we'll be ready to rock and roll and go. Okay, I did that. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Messages of Inspiration, Hope, and Support. Our webinar series is sponsored by speakerspathway.com. And if you've been following us, you know we've got some great speakers coming up for you today. And also, if I may take an opportunity to share a little bit about what we have at speakerspathway.com and also show you where you can find the other speakers that we've had on here, let me share my screen with you, please. Okay, here we go. This is our homepage at speakerspathway.com. As you can see, we got free TEDx training. I'll show that in a moment. We got complimentary gifts. Over here is what others are saying about us. And down here is some of the speakers of messages of inspiration, hope, and support. I'll show you that in just a moment. Further on down, this is Dandy Don McGrath. Don offers a free complimentary course on how to build your business through speaking. And you can look at a few other things that we do for members. This is the Wild Bunch here. All of our executive training directors, me and Don, and some of the testimonies of our members. And we also have a radio show called Your Future Is Now. But let's get back up here in the top and let's see what we got to offer you today. You can get Don's 5 simple steps to a kick butt TED Talk. Just download that right there. It's free of charge. There's no strings attached or anything like it. There's no upsell or anything of that nature. The same is true with Don's How to Grow Your Business Through Speaking. This course is free, so please take advantage of that. On our complimentary gifts from our executive training directors, you can take a look at what Koji offers, and Bill and Dr. Sony Jackson, Tamara, Dustin Matthews, and Preston Martelli. Those gifts there are free, and please share them with others. Now, the messages of inspiration, hope, and support. This is what comes up. These are some of our previous speakers that have been on. You can click on any of the individual speakers. You can see their picture, their presentation and all will be right here, the individual YouTube video. And we have a little bit of a write-up about each individual speaker. So please feel free to take full advantage of that. And if there's messages on there of inspiration, hope, and support that someone might need, please share it with us. You can see we got several pages here. So please do not cheat yourself, because the valuable information is there. These speakers, they come here, they share their information with you. We're all about helping people in their hour of need. And today, our very first speaker is Sierra Frost. She's going to be talking to us today about how to use your community as a tool for better health. And let me cut Sierra's video on and invite her to the show. And Sierra, you may see a request there to turn on your video. Please do. There she is. Good morning. And let me make you the spotlight video. Let me put you under the spotlight. Good morning, Sierra. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm great. Thanks so much for having me here, Jim.
Well, thank you for being here. I know all of us want to hear your message, so let me cut off my camera, mute my mic, and the stage is yours.
So lately, you've probably been on a Zoom call that maybe afterwards feels exhausting. You were staring at the computer screen for a really long time. Maybe it was stressful. Maybe it just really felt like a heavy task for you to be on. Maybe you dread going back to them. Maybe it feels impossible to focus on. You're really like trying to figure out what people's houses look like and where they live, and their pets are going in and out of the video, and you're just really not focused on it. And it feels difficult because it's a different way of being in the world. And so because we're having this sort of shared experience in this age of COVID, today I'm going to share with you about how community can improve our health, as well as 3 tips to increase community during this time of physical distancing. And I want to be clear that we can be physically distant, but socially close and bonded. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I want to remind people that human connection doesn't mean the same thing as meaningful connection. So meaningful connection has to include something that we find a common bond. It might be a similar hobby. It might be something that we're working towards together, so we feel like we're having teamwork. It might be confidence that we know that we care about the other person and they care about us. And this takes vulnerability because humans want to protect themselves from the pain of rejection. You've probably felt rejected at some point in your life. You can think about caveman days in history where if you didn't have a group of people, you would probably die. And so the point of that is that human connection is a basic human need, just like food, water, shelter, clean air. Meaningful connection helps us to survive. There's a lot of science behind that we won't go deep into today, about how our hormones and chemicals in our body respond to having human interaction and connection. And so just know that that's a basic human need. And I'm going to be reading from my book, Everything We Have Unlearned. And I'm going to share a little bit about stories. So connecting through stories. Humans have been telling stories for all of history. It seems as though we don't know how to exist without them. They're the roads we travel to reach each other. Every thought and opinion we form exists within the context of a story. We don't just experience stories in our brains, but through our bodies as well. Here's how it works. The beginning. At the beginning, we meet characters and identify with their similarities to us. As we watch or hear their interactions with other characters, our brains release oxytocin. This is the same chemical released when we bond together through long hugs, giving birth, orgasm, or even imagining being close to someone. Brain cells called mirror neurons cause us to connect to stories. These cells fire when we take action and when we watch someone else performing an action. If I watch someone score a touchdown or ride a horse across a battlefield, my brain fires as if I am the one performing these actions. When you watch a race car, you may notice yourself start to lean in the direction you want the car to go. When you see someone else laughing or crying, you may have strong urges to laugh and cry along with them. Your mouth may water at an Instagram food post. The storyteller and the story listener are both activating the same parts of their brains, connecting to one another through oxytocin. So that's really important to know right now when we can't just walk out and hug people that we really miss. It's really important to know that we can share stories with them and have the same effect, that we can imagine hugging them and at least get some of that health up, right? So when you're online, you might notice someone's Facebook profile or LinkedIn profile, and you might go, oh, they have the same clothing style as me, or they have kids and I have kids, or the same color hair, the same color eyes. And this isn't necessarily conscious, it just happens. It's immediately at the beginning of a story, we're beginning to form, what is this character like? And because we're human, we're biologically wired to say, how are we similar? Which is really cool. We're biologically wired to come together. So tip number one is when you're using technology to be able to interact with people, always have your camera on. And I know that sometimes you're like, well, I haven't showered in a long time, or my hair doesn't look right, or there's nothing behind me in the background. People are going to be judging where I live. We have all these judgmental thoughts that happen, right? But the meaningfulness, the health benefits, and the connection are immensely larger when we can kind of get over those judgments and turn on our video cameras. So always, always, always when you're interacting, turn on your video. Let's move on to the middle of the story. In the middle of any good story, there's a conflict or problem for the characters you identify with and are invested in. There's some form of villain or situation that threatens your new friends, which causes cortisol to release into the body. You begin to agonize over what will happen to the characters. Your shoulders might tense, your palms start to sweat, your heart races, and your breathing might become shallow as you watch in anticipation. Your body is bracing for a threat that is coming from the story, but not necessarily from your life. Cortisol heightens our attention to permit quick responses. You now have a focused anxiety mixed with the care chemical oxytocin. You're biologically hooked into the story. You can't stop watching or reading, so you cringe while you peer at the screen through your fingers, or you stay up all night to finish the book despite knowing your alarm will sound in 4 hours. We've all been there, right? So right now, in the age of COVID, we have an incredible opportunity that I don't know that we've ever had, definitely not in my lifetime, in many generations. Every person on the planet is experiencing the same situation. And given we might be experiencing it differently, we might be experiencing it in a different location, in a different way, depending on what our lifestyle is like. But what we can leverage is the opportunity that in the middle of the story, this antagonist is the same. It's a virus that we all have in common, which is a huge opportunity for us to be able to come together and start sharing our stories about what is this like, to start to use our focused anxiety and create our care hormone of oxytocin to connect with each other and be really innovative about what do we do? What do we do about the fact that some people need some financial support? What do we do about the fact that some people need health support? All of these problems that are coming up, we get to come together and solve them together, which is even part of what we're doing here today. We're speaking about how do we be hopeful? And the situation that we're in is right in the middle of a story that we all get to be part of, that we all get to connect with. And so sometimes I think it feels defeating. Like we have a lot of anxiety, we have a lot of fear, and what do we do with that? Sometimes we want to shrink away from it, we want to hide from it, we want to fight it. And a lot of times we feel like, well, I don't have the resources to fight something of this nature, of a viral nature. And so we feel a little defeated or powerless. And I want to switch that message for you guys today. Because the fact of the matter is that we're all in this together, and we can use it as leverage to do things in completely new, innovative ways that maybe we never would have thought of if we weren't in it. So you can imagine, like, your favorite superhero movie, your favorite horror film, I don't know, whatever genre you're into, we're right in the middle where we're getting to be able to write the ending of the story. And one thing that's really important about the middle part is that we don't use our fear and anxiety to turn on each other. Because you've probably read those books or seen those movies where the characters start to get mad at each other and then everything starts to explode and they can't get to a solution, right? And it's easy to do that in our climate. I get that. We can also notice things about each other that we don't have in common. And decide, well, you're on a different side of the political spectrum, or, well, you don't have kids at home to be homeschooling, and so it's easier for you. We can make up these other stories and kind of divide ourselves. So be really careful when you notice yourself doing that. Go back and ask yourself, what do we have in common? And if you can't find anything else at all, what we all have in common right now is that we are in these unprecedented times in the middle of a story with an antagonist that we're all dealing with, and try and take a moment and come back to that human part of it. So tip number 2 is that we get really wrapped up in getting the task done, getting on the Zoom call, finishing the meeting agenda, or whatever it is, right? So instead, I want to encourage people to connection before production. And that will help us stay in that oxytocin, stay in that bond that we have together. And then we can use our anxiety as leverage to be innovative. And our production levels will actually go up when we feel connected to each other. So whether we're trying to write an article or file for unemployment or get a task done together, whatever it is, our production levels will actually go up and the quality of work will also go up. So connection before production. What does connection look like? You could share a short story about your day, about your kids, about your pet. You could really ask someone, instead of asking the question, how are you doing? Because that question just immediately kind of puts us on autopilot. We're like, oh, we're fine, I'm good, right? But we don't stop and think about it and really be present. if you just switch that question a little bit and say, hey, what's your world like? It's like, oh, no one ever asked me what my world is like. Let me stop and think about that. And immediately we're more present with each other. So ask some brave questions. Lead with authenticity. You can be the one that is starting that conversation and sharing like, gosh, I am so frustrated that my kids want so much attention right now. It's really hard to hear my name over and over and over again. I hid in the closet for 5 minutes this morning. Like whatever it is, just be real. And a lot of times it's humorous because a lot of you right now are laughing. Like I've had that situation, right? We're connecting together. So focus on what we have in common, lead with authenticity, share stories, connection before production. At the end, a story's ending produces another chemical response. If the ending is happy, we release dopamine. Humans love a happy ending for this reason. You've likely also experienced the disappointment of a cliffhanger or a story that ends unhappily. We are left unsatisfied, negotiating for a sequel or new development because there is discomfort within us and dopamine that we are craving. When we experience this cocktail of cortisol and oxytocin, research shows that we are more likely to change our behavior. We use stories to get people to buy things, to advocate for healthcare systems, to donate money to charity, to vote, and more. Our brains and bodies will fill with the backstory of someone we are talking to in order to develop empathy because we're using it to make a decision. Do we want to buy from them? Do we want to vote for them? Do we want to spend time with them? Listen to their advice? Allow them to care for our children? And more. Throughout our lives, whether we know it or not, we are listening to stories and using them to make decisions on our own behavior, as well as telling stories so others behave in a way that we desire. So when we experience stories together and we have dopamine and oxytocin, these chemicals are things that help elevate our mood, they elevate our body, they help our body systems physiologically work better. And it's hard when we are separate, when we're physically separate, to believe that we can have that same connection. But stories, as you can see, give us that opportunity to really, really increase our health, as well as our relationships, as well as our productivity. I'm really focusing on our health today, but everything will increase when we know what we're doing and we can leverage it. So when we're on Zoom together or Google Hangouts or whatever you're using to connect to the people that are physically distanced from you, we can use a happy ending in our technology, okay? We can end a call with some sort of adoration, which sometimes feels really vulnerable, right? Because we're, again, putting ourselves out there for rejection. And it's okay. The truth is, this is what people want to hear, and so often we forget to tell them. So you can ask the question like, hey, what are we taking away from this call? Say something that you feel grateful for, something that's going to help you through the day. Hey, Joe, I really appreciate how you always show up and tell a story that's so real. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate, Janet, that you share the new coffee that you're making at home. It gives me new ideas, gives me something else to think about besides all of this stress. Thank you so much for that. So give gratitude, give admiration. You can have a checkout question like, what do you feel grateful for after this call? What are you taking away? And just remind people, I'm going to be thinking about you. You matter to me. I'm going to be thinking about you until the next time I talk to you. And that can make all the difference. So share brave questions as a happy ending and real stories. And you can use these tools throughout this time to really connect to each other so we can be innovative and make it through. And I believe that we can. So again, tips are use your videos, connection before production, and share care. Give a happy ending. Thanks so much, you guys. If you want to reach out to me, you can find me at speakwithsierra.com and get on a phone call with me.
Wow, I really loved your presentations. Very interesting. Again, before you leave us, could you give us your website and your email address so someone could get in touch with you and say, tell me more?
Absolutely. Speakwithsierra.com will take you to all the information you need in my calendar. And my email is invitationwellness gmail.com. And I look forward to talking to you guys and supporting you more.
Thank you, Sierra. Really appreciate it. Great presentation. Just so glad to be here. Be sure and hang around with us if you can, and listen to the other speakers if you got to go, understand that. But we just really enjoyed having you here today. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell you right now, the presentations that I have the privilege of sitting here and hosting and listening to, I really reap great benefits from those. So please go to speakerspathway.com and look for, if you just slide down a little bit, you'll see the messages of inspiration and hope and support. And you'll see where, you can download all of them and take a look at each individual speaker, look at their message, look at their bio, and most importantly, feed your needs. Our next speaker today will be a young lady by the name of Sonia Nagy. And Sonia, let me cut your camera on and invite you to the show and unmute you. And Sonia, are you there?
Oh, there we go.
There she is. Let me make you the spotlight. Here we go. You're going to be talking to us about soul communication and self-restructuring and how to get a tangible connection to your soul. I want to hear that one. That's going to be a good one. But let me cut off my video and mute my mic, and the stage is yours.
Are you mad with this modern day mass media madness that's going on? This global pandemic? Are you looking for those sovereign soul solutions? Well, here's the good news. You're in the right place. That's what I do. I'm Sonia Nagy of Empower Your Life First. I teach people the internal conversations with their heart, their mind, their body, and their soul. My clients leave with greater power, presence, and peace. My commitment to you today is that as little as 3 deep breaths, maybe more if you're under stress, you'll be able to find that peace, that power, that presence within you. I want to thank you. I want to thank Speaker Coalition for giving us this opportunity. And thank you especially for taking this time to listen, to tune in, to really get connected with yourself, with your soul, with your heart, your mind, your body, your soul. Feel your own alignment. Sound good? I just want to share with you a little bit about me and how this all came about. It started for me about 9 years old on the playground. I was playing, having a good time, gonna get out there and do some tricks, got on the bars and fell right on my tailbone. I didn't walk for a month. Pretty scary. I developed my intuition then. Life was great, going along perfect. Great grades, awesome school. 15 years old, my grandmother, my hero, she died. I didn't know how I was going to make it. A couple weeks later, I was having extreme chest pain, deep depression. My mother took me into the doctor. They hooked me up. They did all those tests. I was diagnosed with mitral valve prolapse. I was given 3 options: tranquilizer every time I felt the pain, a pill every day that was going to numb me out and not allow me to really feel and experience life, or 3, learn to deal with it. Learn to deal with it. 15 years old. So I went in and I started to have more of that internal conversation. As an adult, I married, I have 4 kids. I was married to a police officer for 20 years, really looking for that peace at a greater level. I studied with chiropractors, 5 years, founder of a bioenergetic synchronization system where we're using the body energy, the neuroplasticity to realign. I studied with yogis, qigong masters, and went deeper into School of Energetic Structuring, studying this internal structure. And this This is how I discovered my classes, how I created my classes. My coaching is all around this internal conversation, helping to go through those mindsets, those emotions that tend to hold us back. And this is what I'd like to bring to you today, how all of those sessions start. So a few prefaces before we go in is we're going to go in through divine intelligence. Now, divine intelligence is like a law. It's just like gravity. Everything in physical form is divine intelligence. It has no free will. It is the law. When we invoke it, we call in that law. So no emotions can come into our space. No thoughts can come into our space when we call divine intelligence in to support our connection. Second, we're going to be talking about the central channel. The central channel is very much like our spine. It runs all the way up into the heart of heaven, right down through the body, right sits in front of the spine, all the way out through the soles of our feet into the core of the earth. And when you sit in this long enough, you actually can feel that full connection. So this is what we're going to be working with, and I'm not going to stop and go in, but it's basically 3 steps. We're going to go into our heart, then we're going to connect with the earth, we're going to feel that loving support of the earth, and then we're going to go up to our soul, and we're going to connect to our soul. So just take a deep breath, and it's really good to sit with a straight spine, a relaxed body. You know, the skeleton will hold us. It holds our nervous system perfect when we have that right alignment. And just begin to breathe and allow your body to be breathed. You don't have to work at this. And if you need to or you would like to, close your eyes. Bring your attention into your heart. See, wherever we put our attention, our energy flows. So bring your awareness into your heart and go deep into your heart, into everything that has meaning and value to you. And go deeper into that sacred space of the heart, straight into that central channel, sitting right in front of the spine. And just allow yourself to feel that connection. And if you don't feel it, that's okay. Just follow the attention. Take a few deep breaths and allow the energy of your heart to expand with every inhalation. Allow that inspiration of love, of light. And with every exhalation, push out anything that is not serving you in this moment. And we're going to ask divine intelligence to create this clear, conscious connection. And now take us, keeping a feather light awareness in the heart. Bring your attention now to the earth, to your feet where they touch the earth. Feel that connection of the earth. Feel that love, that support of the earth. She's provided you with food, with shelter, with clothing. Everything in this physical realm is coming from the earth. So just have a little gratitude from your heart to the heart of the earth. And just breathe and feel that earth support connection. Again, allowing every breath to be inspiration and every exhalation to push out anything that's not serving you in this moment. Now maintaining this awareness from the heart into the earth. Continue the awareness and now go up 6 to 12 inches above your head sits your soul star, and you can reach all the way out to the heart of heaven if you'd like. And just breathe in and feel that soul, heart, earth alignment. You are now centered, grounded, and in the support of your soul. Breathe in and allow even greater soul aligned inspiration of your sovereign self, and exhale, pushing out anything that is not in that truth. And allow yourself to feel the totality of you. As easy as 3 deep breaths you can get here. Now, when we have chaos in our world, it might take a little bit more. Practice this when you have time and space and quiet in your own sanctuary. to really develop this connection so that in any craziness in life, you can immediately go there. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you again for taking this time for yourself, to get grounded, to get centered, to feel that soul support that's always available. And if you'd like to reach out with me on Wednesday nights on Facebook, I'm hosting a soul communication self-restructuring live event on Zoom where you're welcome to join. It's free. You will have to register, so check that out. Soul communication and self-restructuring. Sonia P. Nagy is where that's at. My email address is connect@soniapnagy.com, and that's CONNECT@SONYAPNAGY.com. Or you can go to my calendar at calendly.com/ESPN/connect. And thank you again. I love you, and this world needs you. And allow yourself to be in a soul connection, a sovereign soul connection with yourself. Welcome back. Yes, it's very easy to fall deep into our soul support. It feels really good there. There's a lot of cleaning and healing that naturally happens. Healing is our natural design, our soul's natural mechanism of health. Yes, there's also one more on the Calendly. You can have a free exploration session with that /ESPN/explore. So thank you. And that might have been quick, but that's what I do. Efficiency is my nature.
Wow, Sonia, I really like what you say about, just pushing out anything that does not serve you.
Yes, thank you.
I just got back in. You're still going on, aren't you?
I am complete. Thank you.
Oh, you are? Okay, good, because I thought, oh, maybe I goofed up and interrupted you. I apologize. Someone came to the door and I had to take my headset off and go answer the mail person in.
No
Anyway,
worries. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate what you say about pushing out anything that does not serve you. That is so important because so many times we get caught up in our emotions. We seem to drag it around like it's a valuable treasure or something. And it just gnaws at you, doesn't it?
It sure does. And it's just one little aspect of the totality of who we are.
Yeah. We had a gentleman on our radio show. I'd like to share this with you since we got a little time. His name is Barry Shore. Barry got up one morning. He was feeling great. You know Barry?
I love Barry. I know Barry.
Oh, well, let me share this story for those that may not know him. He was stricken from the neck down, paralyzed one day. I think he said it was something that they call something like French polio or something.
Mm-hmm.
And his message is all about joy heals and stress kills. And he's on our radio show. In fact, if I could share my screen, I'd like to show someone that's watching where they could get that at. And I'm going to come back to you, so please don't go anywhere. Sonia, I want you to share your email address and website and all. This is TogiNet Radio. This is where we have our radio show. If you go down here, we're normally on the home page. Just click on that. Your future is now. There we are. And over here on the right, I've got all these things here in the way. I'm going to move it here a little bit. Excuse me. You don't see that on the Zoom, but I've got it since I'm the host. And you just click on view all podcasts there. And let's see, Barry was on, where was it? There's Barry, the ambassador. I got to move this little thingy. The ambassador of joy. That's who he is. He is just a prince of a gentleman. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, it's just amazing the information that he had. And you can download that. Most importantly, it could be a blessing to you in any of the shows there. And Barry is just, me sitting here as the host, and Sonia here, and you speak, and Barry speak, and Bill Heinrich, who is one of our executive training directors. You just all of you just contribute so much, and you're such a blessing. And most importantly, would you be kind enough to share your website and your email address so that everyone can see and hear you?
So website's under construction, so you can reach me on Facebook at SONYAPNAGY, Sonia P. Nagy. And you can, Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock, I'm hosting a Zoom where I will go much deeper into this conversation of connection to soul. And that is under the Soul Communications and Self-Restructuring Facebook event. It's a Zoom that you'll have to register for, and they can connect at soniapnagy.com is the email, and Calendly/ESPN/explore. If they'd like to have a conversation with me, they can jump on a calendar there.
Great. Hey, thank you so very much. And thank you again for a wonderful presentation. And we're just so glad that you came to be here with us today and share your message. And we hope you can hang around. And I want to hear what Suzanne's going to talk about here. But thank you again. Really do appreciate it. Hope
Absolutely.
You have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you.
Mm-hmm. And let me unmute. Let me invite, first of all, Suzanne to the show. I got to do all this techie stuff. We're on the radio. My friend behind the scenes, let me give you the spotlight there. There we go. And here. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing real good, doing real good. I was really caught in an odd position there because I had to put my headphones down to answer the door. I come back and I didn't know if she was finished or not. And I thought, oh my goodness, hope I didn't goof up. But
I think it all did perfectly.
Oh, thank you. That's one of the wonderful things about being live. You're going to make mistakes. So I tell people, when you make mistakes, just own it and drive on. But today, I want to hear your message because you're going to talk about how to nourish your body and your mind for success. Now, I don't have to worry too much about my body, but I think I could use a little improvement on my mind there. So let me shut off my video and mute my mic, and the stage is yours.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit and hopefully create a little bit of change in each listener's body and mind. My name is Suzanne Jeffries. I'm the founder of Tai Chi with Suze. And for about 25 years, I've been sharing Tai Chi as a way to relax, recharge, and rebalance so that we can stress less and succeed with more ease. I am passionate about serving families, moms with kids who are working hard, even entrepreneurs or business owners who really want to create a better world one step at a time, but stress really holds them back. Now, how do I know about this? Well, I have a lot of personal experience with it because let me take you back to about 30 years ago. Back then, I was sitting in my children's martial arts class. They were really little. And I was sitting on the sidelines with all the other parents, but unlike the parents that were there around me, I was eyes closed, head in my hands. I was completely overwhelmed and stressed. I kind of felt like I was at my breaking point. And I was just so overwhelmed with being a mom, working full-time as a first grade teacher. I was recently divorced, just struggling to pay the bills. I had started my own business on the side. And on top of it all, I wanted to be a really good mom because that was my most important focus. However, it was a huge struggle and I just didn't know when it was ever going to change. Someone next to me all of a sudden said, "Hey, are you okay?" I kind of came back to where I was and I just put on a little smile and I said, "Oh, I'm fine, just a little tired." But actually I wasn't fine. I really was tired. I was really tired of pretending that everything was okay. And I don't know if that's ever happened to any of y'all, but I bet there have been moments in your life where you're just struggling and pretending, but everything's not okay. So if that resonates with you, I hope that this serves you and helps you get past that point. I was sitting there feeling awful and depleted and a little embarrassed, to be honest. And all of a sudden I heard this beautiful music coming from the other classroom. So I peeked into it and I saw all these people moving together in this harmonious, slow motion flow. It was absolutely mesmerizing. And I just was fascinated with it. All of a sudden the instructor sees me and waves me in. Well, I was too embarrassed to walk out. So I turned around and I just joined in. And within minutes, my stress began to leave my body. My shoulders, which have been probably way up here, began to relax down. And I felt better. I felt really good. I felt a part of this flow. At the end of class, we did this bow, harmony of body and mind. And I was like, hey, I am all in. Harmony of body and mind. This sounds amazing. So I continued to study Tai Chi and to play with it. And what I found was that I stressed less, I felt better, I felt a lot happier. And as I let go of the stress and I learned how to create more balance in my life, even my kids noticed. Even they were like, wow, Mom, you're a lot more fun to be around now. And here's a really crazy thing. That business I've been struggling to build on the side, it finally took off because everything was flowing in a better balance. So for the last 25 years, it's been my honor and my privilege to share Tai Chi with business owners, parents, entrepreneurs, anyone who's struggling in life so that they can stress less and succeed with more ease. Because what I know for sure is that this world needs each one of us who has the heart to serve and to help. We can make a huge impact on the world, starting with ourselves and then going forward with our families and those around us. So let's go back to nourishing the body and mind. What I will share about that is that I feel like there's two really important things that are sometimes overlooked. One, so often we're filled up with junk. We're filled up with toxic thoughts, toxic foods, poor health. And on the other hand, a lot of times we don't have enough of the good stuff because we're so filled up with the junk. This is where Tai Chi can come in. It all starts with learning to release that which does not serve and to cultivate more of that which does serve. So we empty out so that we can fill up. Breathing is absolutely a beautiful way to begin that. And I'll share just a moment a couple of simple breathing exercises that can help. But let me tell you why this resonated with me so much. I learned not only that life is precious, which I knew, but I also learned that I was precious and that the stress was just eating me alive. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but if you've ever felt that way, especially in today's world with the coronavirus and with stay in place and shelter in place and quarantine, listen, we're always going to have stress in life, but today there's an unusual amount of stress. What I know to be true, there will always be stress in life, but it's how we learn to manage it that makes all the difference. And when we learn to manage that stress, rather than resisting and fighting and trying to push and force, then everything changes and everything gets easier. So the thing that really caught my eye, really caught my attention with Tai Chi, by the way, Tai Chi is an 1800-year-old ancient martial art from China. And it's a little different from many martial arts because it's what we call an internal martial art. Now, unlike other martial arts like Kung Fu, Karate, Taekwondo, which are like amazing, by the way, I've studied those as well, Tai Chi doesn't depend on us being stronger or more powerful or blocking. Tai Chi is all about cultivating that inner quiet, that inner peace and harmony so that we can conserve our energy. We can, rather than resisting things, we can just kind of shift the flow of the energy and send it around so that we don't waste our energy. Here's why this is so important. Stress is a huge waste of energy. Our energy is so important. Here's why. In the Chinese philosophy, 1800 years ago, when Tai Chi was founded, and even to this day, the idea was that we're all born with a specific amount of qi, which is life energy. And it's finite. It's, let's say you have this much. And the only cause of death is that we used it all up, like we ran out of gas. So when we think about that, all right, the only cause of death is that I used up my qi. Well, that means qi is pretty important. From this perspective, for example, It's not that someone died from a heart attack, it's that they did not have enough qi to recover from the heart attack. Or they didn't die from, I don't know, being hit by a car, God forbid. It's that they didn't have enough energy, enough qi to recover from that. If we think about that, that actually makes sense, because I'm sure, just like me, you all know people who have had heart attacks and survived, or been hit by cars and survived. So our qi is very, very precious. And when we learn how to protect our qi, and not only protect it, but also cultivate more, it's a huge change in life, and everything comes more easily, whether it's our relationships, it's better health, or it's improving our businesses, whatever our goals are. So with Tai Chi, what we can do is we can learn how to protect our energy by releasing stress. Stress is actually the #1 challenge that we face in our health today. It is the #1 cause of disease worldwide, and it's caused by a couple of different things. In a nutshell, it's too many toxins, whether they're mental toxins, toxic thoughts, or toxins that our body is exposed to through food or pollution or whatever. So stress, inflammation, comes from two things: too many toxins and not enough nutrients. So when we learn how to release the toxins and let them go, empty out, kind of emptying our cup, and we learn to fill up with the good stuff, whether it's positive thoughts that do serve, coming from love for ourselves and for others, or it's healthy food that serves our body on a cellular level, it all serves, and it helps us not only stop wasting our precious qi, it also helps us to create more qi. So about 10 years ago, I became a certified nutrition therapist, because I don't know about you, I am all about food. And I really learned that the Tai Chi philosophy is applied to nutrition as well. In other words, we want to get rid of the junk and put the good stuff in. If we're filled up with junk, our body's working so hard to release the toxins. Here's a little interesting fact. Every cell in our body has a purpose. Our brain cells are for thinking, our skin cells are for covering our body, protecting our body, holding things together. Our digestive cells are for digesting. But did you know that every single cell, a huge purpose that every cell in our body has, is to release toxins? Huge. So when we are full of toxins, or we have too many, and we can't control all the toxins we're exposed to, but we can make some smart choices to minimize them. When we're full of lots of toxins, the cellular energy of every single cell is depleted from its main job to getting rid of the toxins. So literally every cell gets exhausted and overwhelmed with trying to let go of that toxic overload. So that's why it's so important for us not only to feed ourselves with the good stuff, but also get rid of the junk. It goes back to conserving our qi and creating more energy so that we can really thrive. I don't know about you, but I want to have an impact on this world. I want to help other people to succeed more, especially business owners and entrepreneurs, because I do believe that truly it's the businesses, owners, and entrepreneurs that have the potential to make an enormous impact and shift the world into a better place. So what does this mean? Well, what this means is we learn to relax, to let go of stress. We learn to recharge, to re-energize, and then we learn to rebalance and apply those techniques, the philosophies and ideas into our daily life. Let me give you an example. The best way to begin to relax, because by the way, if someone says, oh, just relax, what do? We get more stiff, more tense, right? We can't just relax because someone tells us to, but we can initiate relaxation with our breath. Our breath is our body's way of releasing tension and stress, and it's enormously effective. We just have to remember to breathe deeply. So let's just take a few moments together and breathe deeply. In Tai Chi, it's a little bit different from some other types of deep breathing. In Tai Chi, we breathe in through the nose to fill our center, and out through the mouth to empty. In through the nose to fill, and out through the mouth to empty. Let's take some deep breaths together. I'll invite you to find your center of energy, your center of gravity, and your center of power by taking your thumb and placing it gently in your belly button and laying your palm on your abdomen. Your center is 2 to 3 inches inside your body, right beneath your hands. And as we inhale deeply, we fill that center, gathering, filling. When we exhale fully, it empties out. We inhale to fill and exhale to empty. Now, if you're like me, if you're sitting up tall, you can feel your center expanding and contracting. It's kind of like this. We inhale to fill, exhale to empty. Breathing in and out. Let's take one more deep breath together. Breathing in and out. We're breathing deeply to relax the body, quiet the mind, and to smooth out the energy. So with Tai Chi, this is a beautiful way to connect, to harmonize the body and the mind. There's a lot of ancient wisdom in Tai Chi that applies beautifully to today. I kind of call them life hacks, because this beautiful ancient wisdom is more relevant today than at any other time. One of the first basic principles is to relax, literally to use the breath to find a way to release that tension that's eating up our energy. Number 2, posture. Align our body as we relax in the proper posture. And what that may mean to you, it could be sitting up a little taller. It might be holding the head up a little higher, bringing the shoulders back to open the heart a little bit more. Or it may be in a more general sense in terms of life. Perhaps we find a structure that serves us. Perhaps it's a manner of eating that nourishes our body. Perhaps it's a schedule, especially in these times where life's a little chaotic. Perhaps it's a schedule that we implement so that we can have some structure that we can relax into. You know, when things are chaotic in life, it's so important to have a structure that we can relax into so that we can stress less, balance more, and succeed with more ease. With Tai Chi, I've found it's a beautiful paradigm for all kinds of simple ways that applies to every aspect of life. And whether you are someone who has never done any kind of breath work or body work, maybe you consider yourself to be uncoordinated, Tai Chi is a beautiful way to start harmonizing the body and the mind and filling up with the good stuff, releasing the stuff that doesn't serve. Or maybe you're someone who, has played with some yoga, you're pretty self-aware, maybe you're a martial artist, but you've only dabbled a little bit here and there. You haven't really had the opportunity to cultivate these habits and these techniques in your life, in your business, in your relationships. Or maybe you're someone who is a yogi master or a martial arts expert. Tai Chi can absolutely take it up to the next level, enhancing so it's easier to create more success with less stress. So I don't know about you, but I can find a way to relax, to recharge, and then to rebalance and apply it to life. I've found huge changes and huge shifts, and it is a huge honor for me to be able to share that with people all around the world. I've been sharing Tai Chi with thousands of people around the world for about 25 years. And what I know to be true is that when we apply these simple principles, even just breathing deeply, that we can change our world in an instant. So we don't have to worry about the things we cannot control. We can focus on that which we can control, and that is managing our stress so that we can thrive and prosper as we do our best to make this world a better place. If you'd like to learn more about Tai Chi, I have Tai Chi online courses. I have some wonderful free 5-day Harmony of Body and Mind challenges. I would love to serve. And let me just close with this. 30 years ago, I was a complete stress mess. I was out of balance. I was struggling. Life seemed really awful, really hard. And I didn't know if it was ever going to change. Fast forward to now, I have a beautiful family. We live in a beautiful place, and I'm able to serve so many people with these simple techniques. I've been able to help so many people transition into a better part of their life relatively quickly, so they feel good and they look good and they can do good. So I would be so honored to be able to help you along your wellness journey, whether it's learning how to nourish your body or your mind, or perhaps both, so that you can be that special person and do the good in the world that you're meant to do. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate your time. And here's to your harmony of body and mind.
Wow, I really enjoyed your presentation. I really appreciated the way that you explained it. It just really hit home to me. And, thank you so much for, sharing with people that it's very, very important about your diet. That's the foundation of all health because, Suzanne, for years, I studied the world of herbs and natural cures and all that. And I'm 71 now, but I was in my late 50s then, and I had a problem. I continued to eat the same way I did when I was in my 30s, and that didn't work too well. And my cholesterol had gotten up to 266. I was stressed.
Oh my gosh.
My total count, yeah. I was stressed, and I was working like a beaver in the middle of trying to build a dam in the middle of a flood, and you run a manufacturing business. I get up early and work late and all that. And I mean, it's only by the grace of the good Lord above that, a lightning bolt didn't take me out and smarten me up. But I changed my diet. I got smarter, and I dropped my total count of cholesterol down to 173. And right now it's about 178. So I'm very, very thankful. But it's so important to be able to balance your life nutritionally and also mentally. I mean, it's got to work in perfect harmony. If not, you're like a tire going down the road on a car. You're out of balance. And it's just going to shake you apart, And I really appreciate the way. Go ahead, please.
It's so true. I think that it's so important for us to realize that we are worth it. We are worth learning how to nourish our bodies and minds, because we have this special, special gift. And, let go of the stress, let go of the fears. Just do one little thing to nourish yourself better today. It might be drinking an extra glass of water or eating one more green veggie, just something simple, and you'll begin to feel better. And then that momentum will begin to continue and carry you through.
Exactly, because that's one of the things that I did. I used to drink a glass of water before I ate, and that really helped me a lot. And when I was, curtailing all my carbohydrates and stuff, and I'd go to bed, if I'd be kind of hungry and want to grab something, and I just drink a glass and a half of water and just, sucked it up. But it was the best thing for me. I want to thank you so very much for being with us today, and all the ladies. Sonia and Sierra, thank you so much for being with us. And I'm going to cut on their cameras there and give them a chance to wave goodbye or say something if they like, since we got a couple of minutes left. And
Hey,
I
Jim,
just
may
want to
I
personally.
share my website? Because I'd
Oh
love
my
to.
goodness, yeah, please do. Yeah,
Okay,
your
thank
website. Mhm.
you. Because I have some really fun freebies and different things people can connect with if they'd like. So my website is SuzJeffreys.com, SuzJeffreys.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Tai Chi with Suze. And when you go there, you can get all kinds of little freebies, moving meditations, things that can really help you smooth out your energy, relax your body, and calm your mind very quickly. So I'd be completely honored to help you on that journey.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you reminding me to give you your website and your email address and how people can get in touch with you, because I know there's a lot of people out there who just want to say, tell me more. And Sonia and Sierra, thank you so much for being with us today. Suzanne, thank you very much. I'm Jim Grant. And if you ladies like to wave goodbye to everyone, and they're so thankful for being here. Thank you for the wonderful messages today. You'll be on Messages of Inspiration and Hope and Support there at speakerspathway.com. You'll be able to share that video, and that's our gift to you. And just have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our time is gone, so we'll catch you tomorrow, same time, same place. Hopefully I won't make too many mistakes tomorrow like I did today, but these ladies were nice to me. Thank you again. Have a blessed day and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.